I watched the second half, and I believe that what I saw was that there was a lot of missed tackles. Um, I expected the wide receivers to show up. So Tosh Washington did disappoint. As you mentioned, Kyle Ford had a big catch. Um, I saw Brendan Rice in the second half, and I believe he was better in the first half. As far as the defensive unit, it kind of sucks for me to mention this, but I feel like we're starting to slowly start having a conversation about Grinch, like we used to have about Pendergast. That's unfortunate because I know we used to speak about uh, Grinch and the defensive unit at the very beginning, all the turnovers and interceptions. Let's be realistic. I don't believe this is gonna, pan out in the Big Ten the way it's going. Um, I've been keeping up with UFC offseason, and maybe I'm wrong for this, but I was listening to some Oklahoma Sooner fans talk about Grinch and how the defense was never there with Oklahoma, and that was kind of obvious seeing that in the Big 12. So this looks like the front end looks like a Corvette with the offense, and the back end just looks like a Beetle because it's not looking like it's balanced out. So I would like to see definitely some adjustments there. And the last few games, just like 2 weeks ago, I was at the Utah game, and it was hard. It hurt to see lose with one point, and then to go in this week thinking that the team's gonna have a uplifted, motivated, and go in there, basically making a statement, and that's not being the case, especially for the last 3, 4 games that we have for the season. And then UCLA coming around, and then Notre Dame seeming to pick up their pace, get some momentum. It's just looking like it's gonna be a little rough. I'm glad, and I hope that we get our defensive man back in there, Gentry. I hope that Corey Foreman, he shows something in the last few games, and Addison and Williams. But as far as the wide receiver unit, I expected them to show out, and they did. So I wasn't really worried about the offense, but the defense did worry me.
Yeah, I think you hit pretty much a lot of great points. Starting with Taj Washington again. I don't know if you caught me earlier on, but he started out hot in the season, and he slowly worked himself into the starting, to a starting spot. Um, he's he's just that guy, like when you need some guy to go in the end zone, settle down the zone, and get that touchdown on third down. I mean, he's just been that guy, and I really, really have enjoyed watching him from last year to this year, just and how he's developing in the system. I don't like the whole idea. I don't really want to go too quick to judge Grinch because I'm sure you remember last year's defense. Last year was horrible. I mean, tragic. And he's trying to get guys in. I'm with you. Some of these things are a head scratcher for me as well. How guys are just wide open. I would like to see. I think the pass rush was awesome, but I would love to see these guys break down a little bit, and if not make the tackle, at least turn them inside, or don't give them that edge, because they lose that containment. And he was picking up 14, 15 yards. Mobile quarterbacks are to do that. If you can't keep them in that pocket, at least you got to be able to slow them down or make them take a good angle. I think Yogi made a good point on one play. I can't remember who it was, but they went for the tackle on the left shoulder. If they go for the tackle on the right shoulder, even if he dips in, that's fine. But now he's moving back into traffic instead of giving that outside lane to run around and run for 14, 15 yards. So I've not been. I'm going to say I've actually liked overall the defense. I just think you need to have the players to run this defense. If he's given a year or two and he gets his guys in here, and we're still looking at giving up 500 yards to Arizona, even when their guys are balling out, I think there will be time to change. But this is year one. We got to give the guy some time to get his players in. I'm not saying 2-3 years. I'm saying this year with the transfer portal. And you got to remember, we're missing Gentry, we're missing a lot of experience with Goforth in the middle. So that's the heart and soul. That's your quarterback of the defense. And we were missing our not our first guy, but also our second guy there.
And I agree with you, Tim, on the defense. The defense, you got to give time. It's no miracle here. And we knew that going in. And so that's why I've had the attitude that I've had tonight, is if you're the head coach, you know what the defense is, the personnel that you're lacking for this game. So you have to adjust your play calling in game when you see what's happening with Arizona's wide receivers and their offense. And I didn't see that. And so that's the reason for my opinion this evening. That's a head coaching decision. You have to adjust to your personnel. And I would just prefer us to run the ball more, knowing those weaknesses that we had in the ball game. You don't hear me railing on the defense because the defense is what it is. It's a work in progress. And I understand that it is not going to be what championship defenses are this first year.
Yeah, I mean, Johnny, we agree with a lot with what you're saying. It's just I'm thinking, let's give it a little more time. I agree with you. I like the fact you pointed out Taj Washington because I had my eye on him the whole game, just being those little glue pieces. You know what I mean? And the defense, we'll see. Anything else? You there, Johnny?
Yes, sir. I'm here. It's just that I hear like an echo. I hear your voice twice, so I'm giving it a second for it to kind of just go off. But one last thing I wanna touch. The gentleman on the OBC, he mentioned something very important that I also paid attention to. I thought that USC should have probably ran the ball much more than what they did in the second half. I think that they were much more effective running the ball, and them throwing the ball all over the place. Like I said earlier, Brendan Rice, I thought that in the second half he gave up some of those attempts to even make a catch. So I just noticed that the run game is effective, and I think they should definitely keep that in mind moving forward.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Good night. Fight on, too.
Thanks for calling in and fight on. Guys, we'd love to chat with you guys. That's what our show's here for. So there's so much lively chat. I'm absolutely loving what's going on there. You guys can also tweet at us if you want to get a hold of us. But most importantly, we'd love to have you guys call in. All you have to do is just click on the link in the chat, or if you go in the description, you can click on the link there too, and give permission for your phone and tell us what you think. So there's like a couple hundred of you guys or something watching right now, which is kind of fun. But we want to hear what you guys think. Some of you have some very strong opinions. We even got some Arizona fans in the chat. So Zona fans, Wildcats, you guys played a heck of a game tonight. So we'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think about your team as well? Guys, also, what do we think? Arizona State. What's going to happen in the Territorial Cup now that we've seen them both? Oh, I think you're muted, Rick.
You want my opinion?
Tell us. I always LBC. I always want your opinion.
I could care less about Arizona and Arizona State.
I love you.
I don't. Who cares? that's. I'm just being honest, man.
It's true. It's true. I care. I got friends from both schools, so I will find that game fascinating because Sean Iguana is doing some great stuff, and Arizona looked a lot better today than I expected him to look.
But here's what I know, and they said it a few times in the broadcast. Trojans aren't leaving LA until a possible bowl game. So, we're at the Coliseum for the next 2 weeks. We go to our second home, the Rose Bowl, who just celebrated its 100th year birthday. And
Happy birthday, dear Rose Bowl.
And it should be noted that we've celebrated 25 Rose Bowl victories in that Rose Bowl, which is basically one time out of every 4 years, USC is a champion in that Rose Bowl. So it is our second home. And then we host Notre Dame at the Coliseum. So it's a beautiful thing.
Carl says, best comment tonight.